expected the Arabs to accept such a bogus arrangement.
You made your choice, which was war.
The UN did what it pleased, and the Arabs did what we had to do.
Which was to attack Israel.
We attacked Israel because you people would not leave our land.
So you want UN resolutions 242 and 3236 to be enforced, while 181 should be ignored? Is that what you're saying?
We have the right to return.
So while Palestinians have only destroyed Israel, we're supposed to let them back into Israel?
We're supposed to accept Israeli oppression.
What oppression? We're defending ourselves against your so-called intifada.
And we declared intifada because Israel still wants to dominate instead of conciliate.
You have rebuffed all our attempts to negotiate a settlement.
We reached an agreement in 1993, but Israel violated that agreement.
How can we agree to anything when we keep being attacked by suicide bombers?
And how can we agree to stop our struggle when Israel continues to maintain Jewish settlements on Palestinian land?
Let me tell you something. Israel will not buckle under to terror or be intimidated into making any concessions.
But world opinion demands that Israel withdraw from our land.
Well, we'll withdraw, but only when our security is irrefutably guaranteed. And right now we are under attack, so we are not withdrawing.
Israeli presence in the West Bank and Gaza continues to hinder any chance of a permanent settlement.
And Palestinian terror continues to undermine any chance of conciliation.
Palestinian terror? What about Israeli terror? Israel's a repressive
Like in
measure.
1948, when 5 Arab countries attacked Israel the first day of independence, who was trying to repress whom?
That's ancient history. Let's talk about now.
Oh, what about now? Has your attitude changed? Are you now willing to live in peaceful coexistence with the state of Israel?
Of course we are.
Well, how can we believe you?
You believe us.
We can't afford to be wrong.
We don't want to be refugees forever.
And we don't want to have a permanent state of war.
And we want peace too.
But we will not succumb to terror.
We've already renounced the use of terror.
Yes. Israel still continues to be attacked by
So
terrorists.
we're trying to deal with that problem.
What?
What?
Oh,
Don't make me laugh. You're so pissed off at the Jews that you nuke them at the thought and you could just get away.
Nuke them! It's Israel that has nuclear weapons, not us.
this is a pure, unabashed lie designed to further excite the world against the Jews and discredit the state of Israel.
What do you say to that?
Oh yeah? Just a lot. I don't think you'd be acting so high and mighty if you didn't have that nuclear card up your sleeve.
Listen, you unmitigated fool. Let's get this straight once and for all. Israel has no need to resort to weapons of mass destruction to defend itself. That's your area of expertise, not ours.
So you're an expert on weapons of mass destruction, are you?
Not me, no way!
But I read somewhere that you were arrested by Israeli security forces for building bombs meant to blow up targets in Israel.
No, yes, I was arrested, but then detained without any formal charges ever being preferred against me. So in other words, I became a hostage.
Oh, and by the way, who was the officer who arrested you?
It was him.
I was just doing my job. You would have done the same thing in the situation in reverse.
No way. You deliberately misused your authority to torment me, terrorize me, and tear me away from my family like the Neanderthal you are.
Ha! You and your big words. Neanderthal. Where did you get that word, huh? Listen, I couldn't care less what kind of political hack you are, or what kind of a job you have in your so-called PLO government. As far as I'm concerned, you're nothing but a 2-bit thug. You were threatening my country, and I'm glad I caught you before you could do any real damage. You deserve to be detained, and how you managed to get released is beyond me.
You guys are something else. Every time one of you open up your mouths, all that comes out are accusations and invectives and complaints. Can't you guys agree on something?
Sure, we can agree on something.
Anything?
And that is?
You're a scheming skunk.
Well, if anything smells, it's you.
Humanity. Whatever happened to the concepts of tolerance, mutual respect, compromise?
Now, these words are mere platitudes. Fact is that the vast majority in the Arab world fervently wish for Israel's destruction.
Look, Palestinian people just want to live in peace. We simply want justice.
At the point of a gun.
You're the ones with guns.
Oh, thank goodness for that. For the first time in 2,000 years, the Jews can defend themselves.
Is that what this is all about? Jews feeling like they have to defend themselves? What a horrible way to live.
Well, that's easy for you to say. But you should be in our shoes before you pass judgment.
I don't need to be in your shoes. I have my own shoes to wear, thank you. Don't be so high and mighty with me. You're talking as if I can't understand or appreciate what you're talking about. Your message is loud and clear. There's no need for you to talk down to me.
What did I say? My point is this. The Jewish people cannot afford to suffer even one defeat by our enemies. So we have no choice but to do everything in our power to preserve and defend the state of Israel.
Like rounding up the innocent people, breaking up families, barging into homes, building walls, denying us our rights. Is that what you're talking about?
Don't be so self-righteous.
I'm not being self-righteous, I'm just being truthful.
Hey, you brought this upon yourself.
Yes, with your help. Of course, the victim is always to blame. Right now, you're in charge. That can change.
Is that a threat?
Crusaders conquered Palestine during 1,000 years ago. 100 years later, they were defeated.
So you're just saying that it's a matter of time before Israel is defeated?
All I'm saying is that change is a historical fact. And that Israel has to be aware of that fact as she relates to the Palestinians.
Oh, really? Well, the Holocaust and anti-Semitism are also historical facts, which make me doubly certain of Israel's right to exist. Her need to exist, and of Israel's need to take whatever measures she has to take to ensure her survival.
Those are ominous
That's
words.
the truth. And as a sovereign state, Israel has an absolute right to defend herself and ensure that her borders are safe.
Palestinian people have the right to their own independent state, too.
Well, that's subject to negotiation
How much longer do we have to wait?
until Israel's security can be ensured.
How can your security be assured or guaranteed? Nobody's security is guaranteed.
No, then we have a problem.
Palestinian people have a right to self-determination. Why do we have to depend on you to decide our fate?
Because what now? We are in charge.
Like I said before, change is an historical fact. So heed my word.
Yes, change is inevitable. But the Jews now have a say in how that change would take place. And we will not give that up. Not for you. Not for anybody. We've been pushing it off for 2,000 years and we've had enough of that. So back off and leave us alone.
I wish we could leave you alone. Just that you're occupying our land. Like, for instance, in Gaza and the West Bank, where you have hundreds of Jewish settlements situated right in the middle of Palestinian communities. How fair is that?
Well, we can live wherever we want. Israel's not a ghetto, and until otherwise decided, Jewish people are fully entitled to reside in these areas.
But the Israelis have no right to be there. You took those lands by
We
force.
took control of those lands during the war that Israel was forced to fight in order to better ensure security.
But you were supposed to withdraw from those areas. Instead, you took advantage of our weakness to consolidate your hold on our land, and now you won't leave.
Well, when Egypt decided to recognize the state of Israel, we withdrew from the Sinai.
Well, if you withdrew from the Sinai, why can't you withdraw from the West Bank and Gaza too?
Because unlike the Egyptian government, the PLO does not want
We
peace.
want peace, you just don't believe
That's
us!
right. We don't believe you. If you Palestinians had your way, you would invade Israel, overpower the Jewish people, and convert Israel into a Muslim state.
We can't do that.
That's right. You can't. But we know the entire Arab world would be overjoyed to see Israeli cease to exist.
No, look, the United States and Great Britain would never allow that to happen.
Does the Arab world want to start another war to dismantle the state of Israel?
I can't speak for the entire Arab world. All I know is that Israel illegally occupies land and is subjugating people over whom it has no legal authority.
All I know is that Israel has a right to exist and will do whatever it can to ensure its survival.
And all I know is that Israel needs to leave the Gaza Strip and West Bank now.
Well, when you're ready to renounce terrorism, then maybe we'll consider leaving. Just like we did in the Sinai after Egypt decided that peace is better than war.
What do you mean, maybe consider leaving?
Well, Judea and Samaria are part of Israel. We may not want to leave those regions. And there are a lot of Israelis living there.
It's also home to hundreds of thousands of Palestinians.
Who are under Israeli protection.
You mean Israeli occupation?
We know that you want your own state, but so far there's no evidence that the independent Palestinian state would be friendly to Israel.
But it's Israel that does not want to be friends with us.
Moreover, it's hard to be friends with people who are constantly preaching against us. In addition, we're not sure the kind of government you will have.
It will be democratically elected.
There's no guarantee of that.
I'm telling you, we're going to have a democratically elected
And
government.
I'm telling you that it's pretty hard to believe.
Why?
But first, there isn't one Arab country that's a democracy. And second, your present leadership is anything but democratically
Not
elected.
true. The PLO government is democratically elected in accordance with our Constitution.
Your PLO is a fraud. It speaks to no one except the PLO, which still calls for armed struggle to eradicate the state of Israel. If the Palestinian people truly had free elections, I'm certain that the PLO would be voted out of office.
The PLO represents the Palestinian people. It's recognized as such by the United Nations.
The PLO represents itself. Like any other terrorist organization, you maintain power through intimidation by labeling anybody who wants to make peace with Israel a terror.
You're wrong. The PLO is a democratically elected organization, and it is not a terrorist group. We're not gangsters.
Oh, that's a big pill to swallow. As far as I'm concerned, the PLO is a mere public relations facade designed to protect an image of respectability, while Palestinians plot to destroy the state of Israel. And the proof of this can be found in the PLO charter, which declares the Balfour Declaration null and void, and which denies the connection of the Jews to the Holy Land.
The Balfour Declaration should be declared null and void, and it's an outrage against all Arab people.
The Balfour Declaration did not deny anyone the right to self-determination. All it called for was the establishment of a Jewish state in Palestine. And both the League of Nations and the United Nations endorsed the plan.
Fine. Then withdraw from Gaza and the West Bank and let the Palestinian people have their own state.
Not while the PLO is in power, and not while there are groups of Palestinian people who still advocate violence.
Why are you so afraid of the Palestinian people? Israel has all the power.
We're not afraid of the Palestinian people, but we are concerned about an organization that claims to represent the Palestinian people and which compares Zionists to fascists and Nazis.
Tactics are practically the same.
Now I know you're insane. Let me tell you something. The Jews are the most oppressed people in history. The Jews were victims of Nazi racism and persecution. The Jews are herded into ghettos and concentration camps, while the rest of the world stood by and watched. All this happened because the Jews were defenseless. Otherwise, the Jews would not have dared to do what they did. There is no way that the Jewish people will ever let themselves be victims again. And if you think the Israeli methods are harsh, well, the Jewish people have learned their lessons from the experts in state-sponsored terrorism. And I shudder to think what would happen to the Jews if Israel were obliterated.
Nothing would happen to the Jewish people. We respect the Jewish people and the Jewish religion. We acknowledge it as a revealed religion.
Then what is your problem?
That Israel continues to treat the Palestinian people the same way the Jewish people were treated by the
You
Nazis.
have no idea what you're talking about. Is Israeli committing genocide? Does Israel want to conquer the world? Is the Israeli government a dictatorship?
I know that the Jewish people suffered terribly under the Nazis. Nevertheless, just like the Nazis, you're using brute force to repress an entire people.
Brute force to repress an entire people? What?
That's right. Everything done to us is predicated on the use of force. And for that, Israel must bear full responsibility.
Blame Israel. Blame the PLO. If you had a leadership that was committed to making peace with Israel, then maybe the situation would be different. As it is now, the Israeli people have no choice but to defend themselves.
Palestinian people have no choice to continue their struggle for independence.
And Israel has no choice but continues to struggle to ensure their survival.
Yes, my friends. The argument goes on and on. And on and on. And whether the conflict gets satisfactorily resolved, only the future will tell. Both sides are struggling to achieve what they believe is a just and equitable settlement of outstanding grievances. And progress has been agonizingly slow. But one thing is for certain. Despite their differences, these two men are still human beings who deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. And as long as they remember that, and as long as we remember that, there's still hope.